Okay, welcome to the next section of video tutorials from Table Soccer USA, the place to get all your professional table soccer equipment. We have here our national champion in the USA, Zach Walker, and he's going to talk about, we're starting to get into the flow of the game, how the game is played. So how does possession change, the figures moved, what does the person on defense do? So I'm going to hand over to Zach. Off you go, Zach.
Yeah, well, kind of beginner with table soccer. Basically, in order to keep possession, obviously Paul taught us earlier how to flick properly. In order to keep possession, you need to hit the ball. So by hitting the ball, by flicking, you're keeping possession. When you're on defense, consequently, you're not able to hit the ball or any other players or any other figures with your flick. But every time the offense flicks and hits the ball, the defense then is allowed a defensive flick. With this, they typically try to cut off an angle, get the figure close to the ball, kind of create havoc and move their figures into a different position where they can hopefully regain possession. So with the defensive flick, say it would go there, the offense then would get to flick another time. Typically, the offense does not need to wait for a defender in order to take their blocking flick. When you're on offense, you're able to hit the ball up to 3 times in succession in order to maximize the amount of touches with one player. As long as you hit the ball, like I said, you'll be able to continue to keep possession. Ways you can lose or change possession in this game, if you were to miss the ball, then it would change possession to the other team. If you were to flick and perhaps hit a figure before you hit the ball, it would change possession. Or obviously, just like in soccer, if you were to kick the ball out of bounds, it would then revert possession to the other player.
And I think also, Zach, if the ball were to bounce onto another figure, that would be almost like an interception. That would also be a change of possession.
Correct.
I think one thing, Zach is doing a great job there explaining that. And just interject on one thing. The 3 flicks for one figure. So I could do one like this, but if I use another figure here, that is reset the number of flicks for this figure. They can then take 3 flicks, etc. So it's very common for the game to be played where maybe a ball will be bounced off another figure and that will reset the number of flicks and will keep your opportunity of maintaining possession for a long time. The other thing that I wanted to stress, Zach mentioned, of course, playing defense. The defensive player who doesn't have the ball all the time is going to be making blocking or defensive flicks to try to make life difficult for their opponent. However, one thing I like to stress is that this isn't a game here. You see Zach and I almost taking turns, where it's his turn, it's my turn, his turn, my turn. If Zach plays too quickly for me, the rule is that I have a right to take a defensive flick, but if he's just too good, and believe me, he's very good, if I can't get that defensive block in, then he gets to just roll on. Now, when you first start in the game, probably don't want to play too quickly. You want to get used to it, and of course, teaching new players, taking turns is a good way to go. But as you develop your skills in the game, you're going to find that using speed is going to be to your advantage. But again, hopefully we're just showing you here and stressing possession change and the 3 flick rule. Okay.
And one last thing, as far as when you're kind of learning how to play the game and kind of learning rules, it obviously can be a bit daunting looking at the rule book. The best way is just to play. You're going to encounter different situations. You're going to experience different rules and stuff. We strongly encourage you to visit Subbuteo Man on YouTube, where you can watch a little more experienced players playing the game in a natural game competition environment, and pretty much that's the best way to kind of learn and see how the game is played and hopefully start learning it yourself.
Okay, thank you very much, Zach.